Every empire begins with an admirable sentence: security, prosperity, order, civilization. The vocabulary changes, the appetite never does. Storm becomes fortress, fortress becomes frontier, frontier becomes conquest, conquest calls itself peace. The map never asks to be divided. It is the hand holding the pen that imagines the line. Every border first existed inside someone's ambition. The river ignored it, the birds flew across it, the rain refused to recognize it. Only mankind required the earth to choose sides. The orchard produces fruit, the empire produces widows. One nourishes the future, the other consumes it. Children are born knowing nothing of enemies. They learn them from adults who inherited old grievances as sacred heirlooms. Hatred rarely arrives as instinct, it arrives as curriculum. God has persuaded more kings than wisdom ever could. Oil has rewritten more borders than rivers ever desire. The earth never buried its treasures to become someone's justification. It simply waited patiently beneath our feet. The conqueror calls it victory, the mother calls it an empty bedroom. History keeps both records. One is engraved in marble, the other sleeps inside family albums. Never open without tears. Power has always believed it could negotiate with consequence. It cannot be explosion, ends in seconds. Its echo continues through generations. No child has ever inherited a ceasefire. Only memory, the remarkable failure of every empire was never its ambition. It was believing that domination could outlive the grief it manufactured. The cedar has watched kings become footnotes, currencies become curiosities, palaces become ruins. Yet every string wildflowers return without permission. Perhaps the earth has been trying to teach us the same lesson since the beginning. Nothing can be possessed forever. Not kingdoms, not oceans, not mountains, not people, not tomorrow. Everything borrowed must eventually be returned. So plant more orchards than monuments, build more tables than walls, leave more forests than battlefields, become more gardener than governor. Because when the final empire collapses into ordinary dust, history will not ask how much land we conquered, only how much life we cultivated. History keeps immaculate records of emperors, yet civilizations were never carried upon their shoulders. A kingdom may be proclaimed in a single afternoon. A community requires generations to become believable. No monument ever taught a child to forgive. No throne ever harvested an orchard. No decree ever persuaded a single seed to trusted the grain, the woman who stretched one loaf into supper for 8 souls, the teacher who quietly altered the child's horizon without expecting a statue, the mechanic who kept an old truck moving long enough to deliver food and not a winter, the nurse who learned that healing often begins before medicine ever enters the room, the gardener who understood that tomorrow must first be planted in silence. Every civilization inherited its future from ordinary people who never imagined history would remember them. The headlines preferred conquerors, the earth preferred cultivators. Brick by brick, field by field, meal by meal, song by song, the world was never rebuilt by speeches, it was rebuilt by hands that refused to surrender. Their usefulness, the strongest roots grow without applause, the deepest rivers flow without permission. The greatest forests were planted by people who accepted they would never sit beneath their shade. That is the arithmetic of hope. To labor for harvest you will never gather, to protect children who will never know your name, to leave the soil healthier than you found it. Power demands witnesses, love requires only faithfulness. The market measures value by price, life measures value by what continues. After you're gone, an old bench outside a small house, a recipe written in fading ink, a library filled with fingerprints, a garden still blooming long after its keeper has become heart of the earth. That is abundance, not accumulation, continuation. So build a porch, plant the orchard, teach the child, repair the fence, share the harvest, pass the wisdom, pass the bread, pass the weed, pass the song. Leave this world with more shade than sunlight. You borrowed more hope than fear. You inherited more life than death. You accepted because kingdoms become chapters, currencies become artifacts, empires become dust. But the people who remember how to build one another, they become the future. They become the future. Every empire invented a language to justify its appetite. The garden never learned to speak it. The oak has never claimed the sunlight, yet every morning its branches make room for birds. It will never meet the river, does not invoice the valley. The rain does not negotiate with thirst. The wind has never sold its breath. Creation has always practiced a generosity. Civilization keeps postponing. We built markets where meadows stood. We paved orchards into parking lots, then searched for peace inside buildings that had forgotten the smell of living earth. The sea possesses no ambition to become another sea. It simply fulfills the quiet covenant hidden inside its beginning. Only humanity mistook comparison for purpose. The cedar does not envy the pine, the rose never resents the lavender. Even wildflowers share the hillside without debating who deserves to bloom the soil. Accepts every fallen leaf, it transforms decay into nourishment without complaint. Tell me, who taught the earth forgiveness? Every harvest is an argument against despair. Every spring refuses to believe winter has spoken the final word. A single garden produces more cooperation than 1,000 boardrooms. Roots entangled without contracts. Fungi trade nutrients without invoices. The smallest forest practices an economy most civilizations have never understood. Perhaps we have mistaken extraction for intelligence. Perhaps progress was never meant to outrun the seasons. Perhaps the wealthiest people were always those who could recognize the fragrance of days of the rain, the silence of mountains at sunrise, the miracle of tomatoes ripening exactly when they should. Pass the seeds, pass the wisdom, pass the herbs, pass the stories, pass the fire, pass the wheat. Done sit long enough to hear the crickets finish their evening hymn. Because somewhere between the smoke, the stars, and the scent of rosemary, the earth continues teaching the oldest lesson it has ever known. Nothing living flourishes alone, and the garden has never once told a lie. Coin learned to imitate the voice of God. Markets began delivering sermons every morning. Their gospel promised abundance. Their liturgy required perpetual hunger. No harvest ever satisfied an appetite that mistook acquisition for purpose. The orchard counted seasons, the exchange counted quarters. One measured continuity, the other demanded acceleration. The soil never recognized the urgency. It refused to bloom according to earnings reports. A grandmother gathered time, calendula, plantain, an elderflower with weathered hands. Older than corporate law, she understood prosperity as children running barefoot, bread cooling up on the windowsill. Neighbors arriving without invitation elsewhere. Another fortune materialized by converting rivers into balance sheets, mountains into inventory, forests into quarterly guidance, and breathing loans into acceptable risk. The accountants celebrated, the birds relocated. A physician prescribed what an neglected garden had once prevented. The invoice grew larger than the remedy. Convenience discovered a profitable alliance with forgetfulness. Packages multiplied, conversations diminished, screens illuminated, front porches fell silent. The wealthiest century in remembered history produced an astonishing scarcity of unhurried evenings. Every generation inherited faster machines, yet fewer moments to watch the rain arrive. There exists a poverty invisible to financial statements. It settles while laughter becomes scheduled, meals become transactions. Children recognize logos before constellations, and forests become destinations. Instead of relatives, civilizations rarely collapse from bankruptcy. They erode when value can no longer distinguish between price and worth. The ledger calculated profit, the earth calculated consequence. Neither made an error one day. The balance will be reconciled, not by economists, by rivers, by exhausted soil, by silent voice. cannot nourish the smartest life. It has mistaken its own reflection for the sun, for the sun. Oh, 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 oh. Coin learn to imitate the voice of God. Markets began delivering sermons every morning. Their gospel promised abundance. Their liturgy required perpetual hunger. No harvest ever satisfied an appetite that mistook acquisition for purpose. The orchard counted seasons, the exchange counted quarters. One measured continuity, the other demanded acceleration. The soil never recognized the urgency. It refused to bloom according to earnings reports. A grandmother gathered time, calendula, plantain and elderflower with withered hands older than corporate law. She understood prosperity as children running barefoot, bread cooling up on the windowsill, neighbors arriving without invitation. Yeah, without invitation. Elsewhere, another fortune materialized by converting rivers into balance sheets, mountains into inventory, forests into quarterly guidance, and breathing lungs into acceptable risk. The accountants celebrated, the birds relocated, a physician prescribed what a neglected garden had once prevented. The invoice grew larger than the remedy. Convenience discovered a profitable alliance with forgetfulness. Packages multiplied, conversations diminished, screens illuminated, front porches fell silent. The wealthiest century in remembered history produced an astonishing scarcity of unhurried evenings. Every generation inherited faster machines, yet fewer moments to watch the rain arrive. There exists a poverty invisible to financial statements. It settles well after become scheduled meals become transactions. Children recognize logos before constellations, and forests become destinations instead of relative civilizations. Rarely collapse from bankruptcy, they erode when value can no longer distinguish between price and worth. The ledger calculated profit, the earth calculated consequence. Neither made an error. One day the balance will be reconciled, not by economists, by rivers, by exhausted soil, by silent orchards, by the children who inherit whatever we insisted on calling progress. So pass the bread, pass the seeds, pass the wisdom of those who knew that abundance could never be printed, only cultivated. And if prosperity cannot nourish the smallest life, it has mistaken its own reflection for the sun. while men manufacture reasons to bury one another. One hand plants orchards, another signs the order to uproot them. Both call it progress. Children learn the sound of drones before they learn the names of constellations. Entire generations sleep with one ear, listening for tomorrow to survive the night. God has never fed the hungry soul. Oil has never comforted the grieving mother. Power has never taught a frightened child how to dream again. Yet still the market's open. Every morning the rivers keep flowing. The wildflowers keep blooming beside roads. No one stops to notice. Slow down, roll one, not to forget to remember. Remember the scent of rain on living soil. Remember that every breath is borrowed. Remember that every sunrise arrives without sending an invoice. Pass it around, not because the world needs another escape, because the world has forgotten how to pause. Pass it to the farmer. Who still believes the earth is worth tending. Pass it to the nurse who carries too many names home at night. Pass it to the laborer whose hands built cities he'll never own. Pass it to the stranger whose language you do not know, yet whose tears need no translation. The smoke rises without asking who is rich, who is poor, who prays east, who prays west. The wind carries it across fences. Maps imagine, but never plant it. Imagine if leaders sat beneath old cedar trees long enough to hear the birds finish their songs. Imagine if every treaty began with a shared meal instead of a threat. Imagine if the measure of greatness was not how much land a nation possessed, but how many children laugh without fear. The earth has already written a better blueprint. Forests share sunlight, rivers cross borders, seas travel farther than flames. Nothing living thrives alone. So let us grow gardens where others expect wars. Grow mercy where anger has exhausted itself. Grow food, grow herbs, grow neighborhoods strong enough to remember each other's names. And if you're going to light anything, light a lantern, light a conversation, light a fire that gathers people instead of scattering them. Pass the weed, pass the bread, pass the stories, pass the hope, leave the hatred on it, because tomorrow is already waiting to see what we choose to grow. Easter is seldom arrives with marching bands. It enters quietly a paragraph omitted, a document sealed, a witness forgotten, an inconvenient truth misfiled, until remembrance becomes impossible. Power has always admired dark rooms, not because darkness is strong, but because unseen hands can rearrange the furniture of memory. The oldest empire never conquered by sword alone. It first persuaded the conquered to distrust their own recollection. Erase the ledger, rename the battlefield, edit the textbook generations later. The absence will masquerade as innocence. An unanswered question is fertile soil. Leave it unattended, and certainty will be cultivated by whoever owns the loudest voice. A library burns twice, once when the shells become ash again, when no one remembers what was written there. The archivist. The archivist quietly shapes the future, not by speaking, by deciding which voices will never be heard. The marketplace trades commodities, the powerful trade perception. One depreciates with time, the other compounds across generations. A censored sentence rarely dies, it migrates into whispers. Whispers become memory, memory becomes resistance. Truth possesses an unusual temperament. It tolerates, delayed, survives exile. It outlives its executioners. The horizon has witnessed every civilization mistake permanence for destiny. Yet morning still uncovers whatever night attempted to conceal. Knowledge was never merely information. It has always been the quiet inheritance of free people. Guard it like seed, share it like bread, for a harvest begins long before anything green breaks through the soil. I have watched you since your first fire, when your hands still smelled like cedar and river water. Before crowns, before money, before maps taught brother to call brother stranger. I watched your children laugh without permission. I watched women gather herbs while the mountains kept the names of every season. Back then, You ask the stars for direction. Now you ask the market. Tell me which one has lied to you. I have carried every footprint you forgot, every prayer spoken into empty fields, every tear buried without witnesses. Do not think the soil doesn't remember, it remembers everything. I remember when rivers were introductions, now they're borders. I remember when forests were teachers, now their inventory. I remember when children picked flowers, now they learn the names of missiles. What kind of lesson did you inherit? The wolf has never built a prison. The cedar has never claimed the valley. The whale has never poisoned its own ocean. Only mankind mistook ownership for wisdom. You race across my surface, looking for more, yet every sunset you skipped was already enough. You climbed toward clouds, forgot to kneel by the wildflowers. You photographed the moon, forgot to meet your neighbor's eyes. Tell me, when did speed become more sacred than presence? When did profit become more beautiful than birdsong? I have buried every empire that thought it would not kneel. Stone turns to sand, steel turns to rust, power turns to memory. But one child laughing in a garden still outweighs 1,000 victories. Come on, not to a nation, not to an ideology. Come home to rain, to soil, to rivers, to silence. Come home to conversations long enough for stars to show up. Come home to seeds that ask for nothing but patience. I have never stopped believing in you. Every spring I bloom again, not because you deserve it, because hope has always been my oldest language. Perhaps it could become yours again. The river has never hurried toward the sea, yet somehow it has never arrived late. The moon has never forgotten its appointment with the tide, nor has the tide ever questioned whether the moon would return. What astonishing faith exists between things that never speak. The oak does not resent the maple spring, never apologizes to winter. Autumn does not mourn the leaves it surrenders. Every season knows that departure is only another form of becoming. Watch the birds, no one teaches them the architecture of dawn, yet every morning they arrive exactly when the darkness same schedule. The mountains have outlived every emperor who believed stone could remember his name. Yet the wildflowers still bloom without knowing who once claimed the valley. Tell me, which understands eternity, the throne or the blossom rain never chooses its favorite roof. The wind has never asked who deserves its song. The stars scatter themselves across every nation with scandalous generosity. Only humanity measures where grace should fall. Migrating birds, the beating heart, the sleeping child, the breath you almost forgot to notice. Perhaps the universe has never been chaotic. Perhaps we have simply lost the tempo. Sit quietly beside an old tree. It has witnessed more centuries than your worries. Walk slowly beside a river. It will remind you that persistence requires no violence. Plant one seed, then surrender. Your timetable, the earth has never mistaken patience for delay. Every blossom appears exactly when its silence has become beautiful enough to break. So when your own life feels suspended between winter and spring, do not despair. The sea looks no different the day before it opens than it did the day before that. Yet beneath the soil everything is changing. Perhaps the greatest miracles have always preferred to grow out of sight. May you love the confidence of rivers, the humility of forests, the generosity of sunlight, the resilience of wildflowers, the wisdom of migrating birds, and the quiet certainty of every dawn that rises without asking whether the world is ready for another chance. For the earth has never forgotten its rhythm. May we at long last remember ours.